gonna sneak right in here. Sneak right in here, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Okay, this is looking good. A little bit. There we go. Yeah. Wow, this is, damn. Sam Downey got like a perfect setup just right here. Okay. All right. Okay, so yeah, okay. I don't know what else to say. This is kind of it's kind of the intro. All right, we're just gonna jump right into it. That's what we're gonna do, guys. We're just gonna jump right into it. Bam, action. Hey homies, how's it going? It's Sam Downey here. Make sure to follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, at SamDowney44. You do it. Also, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel right here. That's youtube.com/SamDowney. I'm posting videos here all the time about like trans stuff, non-binary stuff, also like music and that kind of stuff. So if you're into stuff, make sure to do that. Yeah, this is a typical Sam Downey intro where I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so today's gonna be a fun video though. I'm pretty excited for this video. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty darn excited, guys. Like, not gonna lie. I got a really good guest today for an interview, kind of like discussion kind of topic on its pronouns. So Danny basically has decided it's like really helping me out here, and it's gonna basically do an interview with me, just talking about like, its pronouns and kind of like, I guess like why they would use its pronouns, and like even just like compared to like, for example, myself, if someone called me an it's like if someone called me an I'd be like, what'd you call me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of like I would see that as almost like kind of like a, wow, like you're kind of dissing me. But at the same time, there are other people in this world who, it's would be affirming to them and like be really affirming to them. So I really want to learn about that concept of, why they believe that it's is one of their most like affirming kind of pronouns, basically. So I'm really excited to talk to Danny. Make sure to leave a comment if you have any questions for myself, or if you have a question for Danny, just feel free to leave in the comments. And yeah, like honestly, really, I guess we'll just get straight into the interview, really. So I hope you guys enjoy. Yeah. Time to interview. Yeah, okay. All right, we are here. Yeah, just came from, I'll do like an intro for these videos, but like, yeah, we're in the interview now. Thanks so much, Danny. I really appreciate you coming out and doing this interview for me. I feel like a lot of people who watch my channel are really interested in this topic as well, because there's two sides to its pronouns. It's like, you're either super affirmed by it. It's like, oh my God, like that is the best pronoun set I've ever had. Like literally you're like super affirmed by it. Or it's like the other side where it's like, fuck
derogatory.
Like,
like a more derogatory term. Yeah.
Yeah, straight up. So like, I don't know, I guess we'll just start off with like, what's your experience with like coming to the conclusion of wanting to include it's in your pronouns, basically? Because I know you use they, them as well too, right? But you also use it's, yeah.
So with me, I use more they, them with people because people do take the negative side of it's it. But like ever since I was little with myself, I've always used it's it when talking about myself, or they, them. It's more been it's it. People have never caught on to it either. So it's like my own personal thing. But it's like I'm cool with other people calling me it.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'd say like, yeah, I probably would think that too as well. Like most people would revert to they, them, but like maybe if you're in like a queer kind of setting, like maybe some people use it's, or at least like try to use it's for you, basically. Yeah. Like, now, when you use like it's, does that have anything to do with like you thinking that like some of your gender identity is like non-human almost, or like genderless? Does that have anything to do with like the it's pronouns, or is there like another reason why you kind of use it's?
I want to say it's probably just like the genderless type thing, but it's always just like been a feeling for me, just what I've been comfortable with overall, because I've been called a variety of things going throughout, like we all have really, and it's like the one thing that's always been like, I like that, I'm cool with it, thank you.
Well, it really goes to show that like all transitions and all trans people are different. Because like, for example, me, like I remember like I've made like TikTok and stuff, and I find like when people want to try to get to me, they'll try to refer to me as it. And that's the one that's kind of like, all right, okay, like you kind of got in there, like, so like I'm kind of like the other side of that. So like, yeah, there's like, as I was saying, there's like two different sides basically. Now, do you think that kind of like, I've heard that some people, because I was talking to one person who uses its as well, and they were saying almost that, you know, the its movement is almost like taking back the words. It's almost like taking back it. It's kind of like the same as like, you know, queer used to be like an offensive term. Now it's like people have taken it back and they're almost like proud to use that word. Do you kind of think like the its movement is kind of like that too? Like people using that, or not really?
Never thought of it like that. Like me, it growing up, like I said, I've been called all sorts of things. I usually tell people I don't care what you call me, and it's just as like a defensive mechanism type thing. But it's like when it comes to the words itself, I prefer using them in their literal sense more than the slang, like a lot of people do. So it's more it as in a body of something or an object, because we're all technically objects,
Yeah.
but at the same time we're all individuals.
Yeah. That's honestly a good way of looking at it as, because like, yeah, like, you know, we are basically just all like like individuals and everybody's kind of like different. So thinking that like that, it's like, you almost think like, oh yeah, I guess like it isn't that bad. Like now it's like, oh, yo, next week I'm using it's my pronouns. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, it's, I don't know. I've always just found it really interesting. And like, I don't know. Have you ever used like neopronouns as well? Like, it's considered a neopronoun, or is it not really? Like, what do you kind
I
of look
don't
at it
think
as?
so. I think the neos are just like the ones that people think are made up words
Yeah.
type thing, because I don't think it was used more for insults and everything. So I don't think they'd be considered neo.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I know that's kind of a debate too. Because like I had a couple of people when I like posted, you know, I was looking to do interviews. I was like, I had someone that uses its, and then someone who uses neopronouns, and then some people were like, oh, well, technically they're like the same thing. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
I
Like,
think
you
it's
know,
the because English overall has so many variants and everything. Not to mention America breaks it off into so many different ways. Canada probably breaks it off too. I'm not sure how it is up there for you guys.
yeah.
And then the UK has their own set of stuff.
Yeah. Um, have you ever like met another person that uses it pronouns? Like have you like in person, like, oh my God, we're vibing, like kind of like that kind of thing, or not really?
Nope.
Oh, yeah. I guess it is still kind of a new concept. Like I do see it a lot in like the TikTok community, with maybe like the younger generations, like even just like people that are still in their like teens or like maybe like early 20s. But I don't really see it as much like in like, you know, I would say like mid 20s and up basically. So I kind of do feel like I guess it's like a new kind of movement. That's why I was thinking it was maybe like something to do with like taking back the word or whatever. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
like, you know, you're not gonna have that against us anymore, which I'm totally for that concept. Like I kind of feel like that's like one of the concepts we have to use to like fight back against like transphobes and people who are like anti-trans and stuff. Um, I don't know. So hopefully I feel like, you know, it's is going to become like a lot more popular, and even just like people who use it as well as other pronouns, like doing like he, it, she, it, or like they, it. I feel like, you know, that's going to become like a more popular kind of thing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also more recognition because then you're saying you're also giving respect to more people too, which doesn't get given enough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, honestly, it's just I don't know, it's just such an interesting like topic, and just like hearing it from you, like now I kind of understand more that it's like especially when you're saying like, oh, we're just like all objects. I was like, that actually does kind of make sense. Like it's almost like, you know, referring to someone as it's like, well, technically you are just like an object in like, you know, the world, I guess. So like, you know, it does really kind of refer to, and like in the end it just like includes everything. That includes like, you know, if you are genderless, or if you're like agender, or if you're just more on like the gender spectrum, basically it still includes like everyone. So it's actually like a pretty inclusive pronoun set, like thinking about it now, like compared to like before this interview when I was thinking it's almost like a diss. Like I think it was like so it is really interesting to like really hear from like someone that actually is affirmed by it's like, and yeah, no, I find it really interesting, honestly. Like,
It's sort of like
yeah,
being open to all type
Yeah.
thing. Just
Yeah,
like
no, and that's the way to do
yeah.
it. Yeah. So you said you really haven't like met someone that uses like its pronouns for you use those specifically. Like a lot of people kind of are almost like scared, I guess, like thinking like, oh, like I don't know, like it just like sounds like it could be an insult, but like have you ever like talked to people online that use its for you, or is that kind of how you get your information from like its?
Most people just use they them for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's is more like my self information,
Mm.
whatnot. Most people like I've met in person, if they've either used he, she, they, not really any of the neopronouns, and a lot of the people around where I am are still in the closet about it. Everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like even like bringing up that a lot of people are still in the closet, like even just bringing like more mainstream to like neo pronouns, it's that kind of stuff. It will actually help a lot of people like get out of the closet and be able to like express themselves like fully. And I feel like that's already happening now. Like a lot, like it is like I gotta admit, like it is pretty like surprising the amount of people that are coming out as like trans and non-binary nowadays. Like especially since like COVID started. Like I think just a lot of people had a lot of time to just think about their gender identity, just like kind of being at home, maybe quarantine or something, like not being able to have much of a social life, just like being able to focus on themselves a lot more. Really, yeah,
They're more often too much
yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's almost like too much. It's like, I don't know. I overthought it. Like, uh, yeah, but that's kind of just like, I guess that's the journey of like finding out your gender identity. Like, I feel like a lot of people think that, you land on one gender identity and that's really it. But it's like, in the end, like you actually will progress in finding your true self over time. Like, there's steps to really finding that true self. Like I'm gonna be honest too, like, I first came out as non-binary, then decided to add gender fluid as well. And like I'm still like, I would say I'm still not fully done. Like, it's one of those things that you're always going to progress your gender identity and always going to progress your pronouns for sure. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why. There's just this like stigma around that. It's like, if you like change your pronouns, change your gender identity like too much, it's like, oh, you're faking it or you're overthinking it or doing it for attention. It's like, no, like you're just figuring out more about yourself. Like that's kind of how life works. Like,
I actually one of the animes I watched called Stars Align, episode I think it's 5 actually went over this a little bit. One of the characters was believing he was non-binary, but didn't feel like any of the pronouns he, she, they actually fit with him. Picked out they them though for themselves, but was like talking to the main character about how they don't know what they want to be or who they are and what they feel like overall. And they feel like they're being forced to choose overall because it's seen as you're meant to choose early on.
yeah.
When case, main character just told us, oh, you don't have to choose. You can figure that out in your own time.
Yeah, no, honestly, that's actually a really good example. It's like literally like, yeah, it's gonna take you time to figure out. Like, I don't get this concept where people just think that like, like, yeah, like straight up, like, you come out as trans and it's like, bam, I know all my identities, I know my like pronouns, it's done. This is the rest of my life. It's like, no, like it takes a while for people to really like figure out them like true selves and stuff. And like honestly, like, yeah, it could take years, literally like decades almost, really. And like, that's totally valid and totally fine. And it's really
A lot
not that hard. Yeah.
of trying to figure it out is also your environment itself, where
Mm,
you're living, who you hang with, who's accepting of you and who's not. It helps you figure things out either quicker or slower
yeah.
because you either be more open with yourself and be open with others, or you're closing yourself off, cutting yourself off from even yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's a really good point too. Like, yeah, like the atmosphere around is always super important. And that's why, like, yeah, I always tell people, like, find yourself like a safe kind of like support social group, basically. And that's like the key. Like, really, like, obviously, as I say in like most of my videos, self-validation obviously is key, but that outside validation is always important as well. I know sometimes it's a little bit hard to find, like, let's be real, like there still are a lot of people that are just not as accepting, but you know, when you find those right people, like you keep them. Like that's kind of the thing. Yeah.
But even when you find accepting people, it's still just like whether or not they want to listen to you or they just want to talk over you and talk about themselves.
Yeah.
So you can find accepting people, but it's also whether or not they're caring too.
Yeah. That's a good point too. Yeah. Honestly. Yeah. That's just life, you know, just dealing with other people. That is the key to life is learning how to deal with other people. Yeah, no, honestly. Well, like, thanks again, honestly. This has been a really good discussion we've had. Like, it really just goes to show also, like, you know, as I've said before, like, all transitions are different. Everybody's on a different journey, and everybody has different ways that they feel that validates them. My headphones keep on falling off, but that's okay. But yeah, like, but honestly, yeah, this has been really good. Like, I really do appreciate, like, this conversation we've had. Like, I've really learned a lot. I gotta admit, like, really have learned a
Yeah,
lot, especially, yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there anything that you wanted to like share, like any like social media or anything, or any kind of content that you do?
If you want to see more of me, you can either catch me on Twitter, catch me on Instagram. My Twitter is DEST 999 at 999 for Twitter, and then you can catch my Instagram off there, or you can follow me on OnlyFans.
Yeah. Also have your I'll have your links in the description too. Like, yeah, if you want to like send them to me, I'll like throw
Yeah,
in the links too. But yeah, honestly, thanks again. This has been awesome. You know, make sure to leave some comments down below, you know, thanking Danny for coming on. Like, we really appreciate it. Like, I think everybody on this channel also like really appreciates like, you know, the conversation we have. And like I feel like a lot of people will learn from this as well too, you know. Because I think
yeah,
a lot of people are kind of in that stigma of like, who would want to use it's like I don't get it. But it's like, you know, you really explained it well, that it's like a good self-validation for you, and also that, you know, let's be real, like we are just objects living in a world, and like, you know, everything is an object. So like when you look at it like that, it's not really like someone's dissing you. It's almost just like, yeah, thanks for affirming me. Like, thanks for affirming that I'm not male or female, and I'm just like kind of everything, but also nothing. Like,
one is all.
yeah, literally. Well, thanks again, though. Yeah, it's been great.
See ya. Thank you.
And yeah, that's about it for this video. Thanks again, guys. I really do appreciate everyone that watches my videos. You know, if you want to support the channel even more, feel free to join me on Patreon or join my channel right here. You know, I appreciate every dollar that everybody gives to me because I am paying for my hormones out of pocket. But obviously, I'm looking to create free content for everyone, so no pressure or anything. Don't give me your last dollar. Don't do anything like that. I really do appreciate anyone that does help me out in that way, but obviously no pressure or anything. Also, make sure to follow Danny on all their social media. You know, I think it will like, you know, it appreciate it. It appreciate it, you know, and they got some good stuff on there, so make sure to follow like their Instagram. I think they said Twitter as well, and then OnlyFans as well. I'm gonna leave all those links in the description down below, so if you want to check them out, you know, make sure to click those links. And yeah, really besides that, make sure to follow me on Instagram at SamDowney44. Also make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel right here. That's youtube.com/SamDowney. Hit that notification button, hit that bell, do all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, catch you guys next time. Peace.